Revenge, Munitions, and Fallout. The final 3 episodes of Season 5 are upon us, and before they air, I have a theory made for these 3 episodes. For I'd say the past 2 weeks I've revolved my theories around Mr. Hall and the munitions disaster. However, I haven't really laid out my full thoughts on what happened specifically within these episodes. However, I'm in the right headspace to articulate and explain what might happen within the munitions disaster, and the potential fallout of this. Today, we solve the munitions disaster. So far, we have the main villain motives. Either Robert Hall, his brother, or both have a motive to get rid of either Donald or Henry. Since Henry is out of commission, Donald will most likely be targeted. Obviously, from what the trailer to Season 5, we can obviously see that. We also see that there is another incident at Brendam Docks, judging by Edward, Diesel, and Eric being there, which we know work on the Brendam branch. Because of this, and looking into it further, there are multiple things I would like to go through in this video, because we have little pieces of what the result is, but not exactly how they happened. So let's begin, shall we? This theory was one I made in the previous theory video discussing Barry the Rescue Engine, but in short it revolves around the idea of Mr. Hall's brother being the one responsible for the sabotage, considering his gripes with the railway. His plan of sabotage, or how he is doing it, is revealed to us in Episode 1 of Season 5 and Episode 4 of Season 5, where tampering was made to a certain equipment for it to derail and have a disaster to happen. I have a hunch that this is the sabotage's signature. Now, for those who don't know, serial murderers or anything that is a serial something, like serial thief, whatnot, will usually have a signature to them, or rather how they do their crime. And this proves to us that the munitions disaster will happen due to something derailing, and intriguingly enough, this also goes for the incident involving Donald, since as we can see in the shot, there are several trucks that are derailed. So now that we've had a solid signature and motive, we can now construct how exactly it will happen. In this episode, I predict that either one of the two halls messes up with a set of points, causing a derailment to happen. However, Donald witnesses this, who is doing the sabotage and can't move for some reason. However, Onslow witnesses this from afar and notifies the authorities. Someone does get killed in this episode, and I think it's gonna be Sheffield. Why? Because for one, we do see a scrapped J94 model in the ending of the Season 5 teaser. And two, because time has shown that because his character arc is completed and we don't see him in the intro, he is also seemingly replaced by Bear as well. We're going to infer that because of how Victor really structures his stories, like with every sort of character arc completed, there's a chance for that character to be dead. And so, I think this also goes for Sheffield. Remember, Jeffrey also had a completed character arc. So, what did Victor do with him? Killed him, right there. And so, from what we see, we move to the episode Munitions, where the saboteur is known and is currently hiding within Brendam Docks. He does one of his things again but messes up. And this time, Thomas and Whiff see this and call the authorities, or notify the authorities. But before they could get there, he tampers with one of the munitions and it goes like the Tugs episode of Munitions. Thomas and Whiff barely survive. And also, there's also a sort of Tugs character in the episode that kind of resembles Benson's attitude. And this is very interesting, honestly, because this means that Benson is going to die. And remember what I said earlier, characters who have a complete arc are going to die in this season. It could also be that Peter dies, since Edward's statement about him in the SCPs of Sodor is in past tense. It's not necessarily in present tense. Now, am I going to say 100% sure that Peter will die? No, we're not really too sure if his character arc is completed. But after this episode, or whatever happens within this episode, whichever brother it is of the Halls gets sent to prison, while the others grieve the loss of Benson and maybe Peter. The fallout causes Brenham Knox to lose business but not be entirely closed down, but rather downsized in some type of way. And this is how I predict Season 5 will end, with a somber remark from Edward.
My name is Edward, and these are the stories of Sodor.
Although, there is one thing that really does bug me though. So, in the episode Munitions itself, right? The most noticeable, or rather notable moment of the episode itself in the Tug series is that there's a crane and it explodes. It crashes down and is never seen again. Or rather, it depends on which type of order you consider to be, because the crane itself is really never shown if we're considering that Munitions is the last episode of Tugs. Now, why am I bringing up this whole thing about the crane? Well, what's the crane's name? I want you to take a wild guess at the crane's name. It's Big Mickey. And there's only one character in the Stories of Sodor series that is named Mickey. I don't really have a really guaranteed sure that Sheffield, Peter, or really Benson will die. I'm not really too sure of that. This is really just me spitballing out there. But Mickey, I am guaranteeing 100% he's going to bite the bullet within this season. And that is how Stories of Sodor will end. And for those who are still doubting that Mickey won't die, we see a K-12 model right there, a scrap K-12 model right there, where Edward in the ending of the Season 5 trailer. And that is how Stories of Sodor Season 5 will end. Thank you for watching.